Do you ever let yourself down over and over again, even though you know what you should be doing? Today, we're going to dive into self-sabotage, what it is, why we do it, and how we can stop so that we can actually achieve our fitness goals. If you're new here, hi, hello, I'm Angelica, and if you are returning, welcome back. I'm so excited to have you here. Today, we are going to be diving into a topic that is near and dear to my heart because I have a lifetime of self-sabotage behaviors. And it wasn't until the past few years when I really started to dive into the science behind it, why we do it, how we can overcome it, that I was actually able to see real, true, and lasting change. Before we dive in, I want to go through this quick analogy that somebody once told me that really resonated with me and really changed the way that I looked at how I was showing up for myself. So they asked if I had a best friend and we decided we're going to meet at this coffee shop every single day to work on our goals. And I go to the coffee shop the next morning and they text me, they're like, hey, I'm so sorry, I can't make it. Something came up, I'm really busy. Okay. The next day, they just don't show up. They don't text you, they don't call. The next day, they're a couple of hours late. The day after that, again, no call, no show. The day after that, they're like, oh, I'm just so busy, I can't make it. I'll promise I'll be there tomorrow. I promise I'll be there tomorrow. How would you start to feel about that person? You'd probably start to feel like, is this person my friend? Do they even care about me? I don't think I can trust this person. You would really start to feel a lot of maybe resentment, maybe anger, definitely losing some trust and confidence in that person. But that is exactly what we're doing to ourselves most of the time. I know I definitely was there. I still have those times where I don't show up for myself, but a lot of us really struggle with this not showing up for ourselves, lying to ourselves, buying into our excuses of why we can't do things when we say we really want to achieve them. Health and fitness, perfect example, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. You know, a lot of us have this goal that we want to lose body fat, we want to get in shape, we want to feel good in our clothes, we want to feel energized, and we know what we need to do, right? Okay, we know the basics of what we need to do, and yet we continually sabotage ourselves and we don't show up for ourselves and we don't do those things, and then we continue to complain about it that we don't have them. So why is there this huge disconnect? Why are we so okay with letting ourselves down? And you probably don't realize it, but because you are continually not following through on the things that you say you want to do, you are eroding trust in yourself. So anytime you say, this is the week I'm going to get my stuff together, this is the week I'm actually going to do my workouts, I'm going to meal prep, this time everything's different, you don't actually believe that because you don't have a history of being able to trust yourself. So because you don't actually believe it, you don't actually follow through with it, right? So today we're going to talk about all the ways that we can overcome that. So first, let's talk about why we let ourselves down. Why do we not show up for ourselves when we want to? You know, I know deep down inside we really want to do this. We really want to make that change. There are a couple reasons why we continually do this behavior. So one thing might be that, you know, we don't feel good enough. And this can come from so many different things. It can come from things that happen in our childhood, maybe relationships that we were in previously that made us feel like we're not deserving of good things. We're not deserving of feeling good. We're not deserving of, the things that we want in our life. And I'm not here to give a psychology lesson. That's not my realm of expertise. So I just want to point out some things that it could be, and then you can kind of take that and, you know, if you feel like that is an area that you need to dive into, find somebody that you can work with on that. I know personally in my youth, I had a lot of really terrible relationships where I was treated really poorly and made to feel like I was not worth caring about, I was not worth loving, I was not worth taking care of. So I started to internalize that and feel like I was not worthy of taking care of myself, of doing the things that I wanted to do, of feeling good in my body and feeling good in myself. And I carried that through my adulthood until more recently when I started doing the work to actually overcome those obstacles. There can be other things like societal pressures, you know, this need to feel perfect, and perfect doesn't exist. So when we are striving for something that we can't achieve, we're going to continually fall and fail at that. And it really weighs down on us. It makes us feel bad. It makes us feel like, what's the point of even trying if I can't even achieve this thing? But we're reaching for the wrong thing because perfection doesn't exist. And I know I've had to really work on that, being a recovering perfectionist myself, just knowing that, there's good enough, there's optimized, there's all sorts of things that you can do to achieve great things without it being perfect. I think another thing that really holds a lot of people back is comparison. And especially in today's day and age where there are millions of people that we can see on the internet, people that are crazy filtered, people that are actually AI nowadays, it feels like you can never live up to this standard of what other people are. It's so easy to go onto social media and scroll through and be like, I'll never be as pretty as her. I'll never be as fit as her. I'll never be as cool as her. I'll never be as strong as her, as skinny as her, whatever the case may be. It's really, really, really easy for us to fall down that rabbit hole and completely lose ourselves to this comparison of everything and everyone else, when really the only person we should be comparing to is ourselves right now or ourselves yesterday. It's really focusing on becoming the best version of you, feeling good in your body, and that's going to look different for everybody. So you really need to try to step away from that comparison culture and just setting all these unrealistic standards for yourself. So an action you can take today is to just kind of think through, what are some of the common ways that you feel that you are self-sabotaging? Is it this perfectionist type of thing? Is it this comparison? Just start to think about, what are the things that come up for you in this area? And we're going to dive into part 2, which is how to recognize your self-sabotaging behaviors. So once you start to just kind of think about these different things, now I want you to start to recognize it in your day-to-day life. What are the specific things that you're doing to self-sabotage, to let yourself down when it comes to your health and fitness goals? So probably one of the biggest forms of self-sabotage is procrastination and avoidance. So this can look different for different people, and it can even be different, in your day-to-day life. But one of the biggest ones is just obviously avoiding things or putting them off. So saying like, I don't have time to work out today. I had to work late, so I have to skip the gym. I had to, do XYZ with the kids, so I have to skip my workout. I don't have the energy, so I'm going to skip my workout. It's really easy to put things off and be like, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll start again on Monday. Those are some of like the big procrastination style self-sabotage that people do. But another area that's kind of sneaky with procrastination is over planning and over researching. So when you are in planning and researching mode, I'm doing air quotes if you're just listening to the audio, you feel like you are taking action. And I can't remember what book I read this in, but the author talked about it being motion versus action. So action is like when you're actually doing things, right? Like you're actually doing the workout, you're doing the meal prepping. But motion is like these things like planning and researching and making a list and that kind of stuff that makes you feel like you're being productive, but you're not actually being productive. And this is an area that I had to really, really fight within myself, because I could make plans, I can make lists. I love making lists. I can make workbooks. I could do a ton of things. And I could feel like I'm making progress, but I'm not actually making progress, because none of that is going to give me a result that I want. So you could spend 2 weeks researching what is the perfect diet, what is the best workout plan, what is, whatever, but you're not actually going to see any physical results in yourself or feel any different. But if you just say, okay, I'm going to take this workout plan that I found online and I'm going to do it to the best of my ability, and I'm just going to start eating a little bit more protein, eating some more vegetables, and you just do that and you do it at like 80 to 90%, you are going to see amazing results compared to trying to find the perfect plan, right? So I really want you to, if this is something that you get stuck in, really try to just force yourself out of that habit of like putting things off or, over planning, and start to just take little actions. Another big area of self-sabotage is negative self-talk. This one, I've been there too. This is one of the big ones for me. I know I spent the majority of my life talking negatively about myself as a person, how I look, how I feel, how I dress, how everything. And, that goes back to the self-worth piece too, is if you are constantly talking negatively about yourself, I can't do this, I'm a failure, what's the point? I suck at this, I'm not good at this, blah, 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 all of that stuff. It's just going to make it harder for you to actually take action and make progress. So that's another big one that, especially for women, I've noticed across the board, a lot of women struggle with the negative self-talk as a self-sabotaging behavior. Another big key one for women that, again, I have struggled with too. A lot of what I'm sharing is from my personal experience or from the experience I have working with the clients that I've worked with or the people that I have worked with over the years, is people pleasing and overcommitting yourself. Now, this can be a form of self-sabotage because you are taking time and energy away from investing in yourself, investing in your health, taking the actions that you need to take, and putting it into other people and other things, especially when it's people and things that you don't want to, right? If you are saying yes to everything because you feel guilty about saying no, but you don't want to do it, cut it out, okay? I say this with love because I do the same thing and I've had to really, really check myself on this. But if it's not something that you want to do and it's not someone that you want to spend time with, or, it's going to really, really conflict with the things that you need to do for yourself, say no. It's okay. It's okay to say no. It's okay to let people down. I know that obviously there's circumstances where you can't or really don't want to let someone down. But, try to find ways to make sure that you're still setting time aside for yourself. And then one of the other big ones I think a lot of people struggle with, myself included, are the distraction or self-numbing types of behaviors. So things like doom scrolling social media, drinking alcohol, partying, binge watching TV, that kind of stuff. Those types of behaviors are, again, going back into that avoidance and procrastination. And you're really just trying to, I know for myself, just based off the work that I've done, I did a lot of those things because I was trying to avoid dealing with the things that I felt were very negative in myself. So dealing with my self-image issues, dealing with my past traumatic experiences. Those types of behaviors were great at distracting me from them. So a lot of times those self-numbing behaviors are really just going back to like the avoidance piece or the self-worth piece and, really diving into those areas and figuring out what's really going on at the bottom of that and, doing the work to overcome those issues is what's going to help you move past it and not feel the need to distract yourself or numb yourself from basically your real life, right? So action step for this part. Throughout this week, I really want you to focus on what are your self-sabotaging behaviors. Try to keep like a journal, like a little notebook, or even like your notes app on your phone as you start to notice things that are happening. So let's say it's time for you to go work out and you're like, I think I'm going to skip it. I'll just put it off till tomorrow. What is making you avoid that? What is making you not follow through on the plan that you had to work out? Or if it's, you packed your healthy lunch, but then some of your coworkers are like, hey, let's go. We're going to go out to eat. We're going to go to this, whatever pub or bar down the street and get some food and have a beer. And you're like, oh, okay, I really want to do that. I don't want to eat my healthy food. Like, what is it about that situation that is making you want to go against the plan that you put in place? Because we know the plan that we put in place is what we want, right? It's part of our goals. We know it's going to help us feel better, look better, have more energy, all of that. So then why are we making decisions to go against what we know is best for us and what we know is what we want? So I want you to just take time this week. Anytime that situation arises, try to just notice like what is What is the driving factor? Is it procrastination? Is it avoidance? Is it a self-worth issue? Is it, something that you're trying to numb that feeling? Like, what exactly is it about that situation? And just kind of jot it down. You don't have to do anything with it right now. You don't have to try to solve your puzzle. You don't have to figure it out. I just want you to take note of it so that you can reflect back on it later. All right, and I'm not going to just say, wow, we self-sabotage, that sucks, good luck. Obviously, I'm going to give you guys some advice and some tips and tricks that have helped me along the way. But I really wanted to make sure that these are small, simple things. Obviously, if you have bigger things that you need to work through, like I said, if there's self-worth, trauma types of situations that you need to work through, that's obviously something that's very different. But these are just some little tips and tricks that you can start to implement so that you can start to follow through, to show up for yourself, to start building that trust in yourself again, so that you are more likely to take action moving forward. So number one, the biggest thing that I tell most people that I work with or that I share with anyone is that you really need to start so small. Most people try to go 0 to 100 with their health and fitness journey. They're like going from, I don't work out, I watch Netflix all day and scroll my phone, and I eat out 90% of my meals. And they're like, I'm going to work out 6 days a week, and I'm going to do cardio, and I'm going to eat clean, and I'm going to do keto, and I'm going to do this. And it's just so much that it is overwhelming, and they cannot maintain that level of change in such an intense and short amount of time. And then they end up feeling overwhelmed, burnt out, and they give up, and they're like, this is just not for me. I can't do it. I'm a failure, blah, blah, blah. Or they start the cycle of like, oh no, I fell off the wagon. Might as well give up for the weekend. Okay, I'm going to restart on Monday. And then the cycle continues. Okay, I know that cycle. I've been there many times. I'm sure you have as well. So I really want you to start so small that it feels stupid. It feels so dumb to start so small. I want you to start with like 5 minutes. 5 minutes of working out. 5 minutes of meal prepping. Putting on your workout shoes and just going to the gym or standing in your garage. I want it to be so simple that you can do it if you are exhausted from a long day of work, your kids are hanging on you and screaming, the dog has to go out, but you're like, I can do this 5-minute thing. That's how simple I want you to start, okay? Something that small is going to make it really easy for you to actually follow through. It can even be 2 minutes, all right? If you can say, I'm going to do 1 squat a day, and you do it, you're going to prove to yourself that you can show up for yourself, and you're going to continue to grow that trust, grow that confidence, and then you'll continue to do more action. So if that's as little as you need to go, start there. That kind of runs into keeping promises to yourself. So this is an easy way that you can, it doesn't even have to be related to health and fitness, but making a promise to yourself to do something, again, keeping it small and following through, is going to be huge in helping you build that confidence. So if you, for example, say, I promise that I am going to take 30 seconds every morning to just take a deep breath before I drink my coffee. That's super doable. That's a very small promise, very easy to keep to yourself. Or I'm going to say affirmations in my head while I brush my teeth. Just coming up with some really small promises that are going to be easy for you to keep to yourself so that you can build that confidence. Another key thing to helping you to overcome self-sabotage is to do acts of self-care. So this can be health and wellness related. This can be things like, making a healthy lunch, making a healthy breakfast, keeping healthy snacks at your desk, drinking enough water. But it could also be, taking some time to read a book that you really want to read, or doing a short meditation, or taking a bubble bath, or, taking extra time to do your hair and makeup in the morning. Something that I've loved doing recently is taking myself on a solo date, and I've been going to this pottery painting place that I absolutely adore. It's just super cute. Everyone that works there is so nice. And then I just have a little bit of time to myself to design whatever. I actually made this cute little coffee cup. How cute is this? Okay. That's something that I never would have done a couple of years ago. I felt like taking time for myself outside of like doing my workout was a waste of time. I should be doing something more productive. I should be working. I should be building my business, whatever. But having a little bit of time of self-care, pouring into myself, doing things that just make me feel good, make me feel happy, has made a huge difference in how I feel about myself, how I show up for myself in all the other areas of my life. And then I think one of the biggest things, especially for women, as I mentioned earlier, is to rewire that negative self-talk. I know that this can be one of the hardest things to overcome because if you're like me, I had like 20 something years of negative self-talk built up as a habit, and it was so ingrained, and it's still something that I'm working on to this day, even though it's gotten a lot easier for me after, a couple of years of working on it. It is very difficult to overcome, but it is possible, and you just have to do the work. So one of the quickest things that you can implement and that I've started doing is that anytime you have a negative thought come into your mind, so if it's something like, I'm so ugly, you want to immediately combat it with a positive. And, I know sometimes it's a struggle, like, okay, I'm broke. And then saying like, no, I'm not, I'm a millionaire feels like such a lie and you don't believe yourself. So it doesn't have to be something that you completely don't believe. But you want to combat it with a positive right away. So if you're like, I'm so ugly. No, I'm not. I'm beautiful. Everyone is beautiful in their own way. And, I am, working on becoming a more vibrant version of myself. And I can feel my energy shifting. I can feel, my skin is more glowy and whatever. So just finding little ways to combat it immediately when it pops up into your head. Or if you don't want to say anything positive about yourself because you're not in a space where you feel like you can, just saying, that's not true. That's just a lie. And just let it go. Because we have thousands and thousands of thoughts every single day. And for the most part, a lot of them are going to be recurring. It's the same thoughts that you had the day before and the day before and the day before and the day before. So you don't even have to combat it with a positive one. You can literally just say, that's a lie, and let it go. So if that thought comes up, I'm so ugly. That's a lie. And then just carry on with what you were doing. That's going to be one of the easiest ways that you can rewire that negative self-talk. And there's so many different practices and recommendations for how to do this. You can definitely just do, a quick search. And if you're interested, maybe that's something I can do a whole video on, but you really just want to work on combating that as quickly as possible, because the faster we feel like that we are worthy and that we are deserving of feeling good and looking how we want to look and living how we want to live, the faster that we are going to actually take the actions to do that. Okay, so the action step for this section is once you have kept that self-sabotage journal of the past week and the things that came up for you, I want you to go through every situation, what things came up for you, and how can you work on that this coming week. So like I said with the self-talk, if negative self-talk was a big one that came up for you, making sure that you can combat that every time it comes up for you. If it was something like with procrastination where you're like, I don't have time to work out, I don't have time to go to the gym, I have to work late, I have to do this, what can you do instead? What is your backup plan? Can you have a quick workout that you do at home? Can you do something with bands? Can you switch the time that you work out to the mornings instead of the evenings? Like, just look for the solutions in the challenges that you encountered the week before. I just want you to remember that it's really easy for us to buy into our excuses and to buy into our own lies and to not show up for ourselves, especially when it's in the sake of other people taking care of our career, our families, whatever the case may be. It always feels like that's more of a priority than ourselves. But the whole analogy of put your own oxygen mask on first before helping others. There's a reason why they say that, because if you are not in your best, if you are sick, if you are, not capable of doing certain physical things, then it's harder for you to help people. It's harder for you to show up and be the best employee, the best business owner, the best mom, the best wife, the best whatever. So I really want you to work on this mindset, reframe it, and really start to show up for yourself, to be a good friend to yourself. And just think about the ways that you can be a better version of yourself for yourself and for the people in your life that you love. All right, that's all I have for you guys today. I would love to know if you're open to it, sharing what self-sabotaging behaviors you struggle with most in the comments. Let's all support each other and help each other. I know that we can overcome this. I know I've shared a few of the ones that I've struggled with today, but I would love to hear from you guys. If you enjoy this episode, please subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any more episodes.